assuming that he did what he normally did, which we know from other areas of Scripture that Jesus was an early riser, thinking about the fact that there's nothing mentioned of him taking naps or things like that during that last day, going through that day, leading all the way up into the cross, he probably was up somewhere around 36 hours. But the only meal that we know of, the last thing that we hear of, is just that Last Supper. And so, considering that mentally he was probably quite fatigued, realizing that, as he prayed, sweating those drops of blood, knowing what was coming before him, how much emotional stress and strain that would bring. Scourging in the Roman culture was actually so bad that no Roman citizen was actually allowed to be scourged. What would occur is two Roman centurions, which are basically almost like in today's world, it would sort of be like two NFL linebackers. And what they had is they had something called a flagellate, which is it's like a long stick that has at the end of it 9 sort of leather straps that come off to the edge, at the very end of which is either a lead or weighted ball that's connected to a piece of bone, normally from sheep or lamb's bones. And the idea behind it would be the centurion, as they would hit, the balls would actually grab onto the skin, and then the bone would get to go up underneath and kind of pull upwards. There is a physician in Asheville who's actually done a test on that with cadavers and basically tried to recreate what happened with a centurion's whip. And when they did that, basically what would happen is each time that the person was whipped, each one of those little 9 flagellate lashes would actually make a cut about 2 inches in length and about a ½ inch deep, sometimes reaching into the underlying skeletal muscle. It wouldn't necessarily always result in a ton of bleeding, but it definitely resulted in a lot of skin and soft tissue injury. He actually tried to recreate it and see, and each one of those lashes would turn into about, if you did one lashing with the 9 wounds, it would actually take somewhere around 200 stitches to stitch back up. In their culture, they would typically, you'd have one who would go and then the other one would go. That way neither one of them tired out too quickly. But it would actually take somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000 stitches if you were to do all 39 of the lashings with the flagellate.